Hello everyone, my name is Ellis. I'm a junior at Clear Horizons Early College High School, and this is my final presentation. So, what is ISM? ISM, it stands for Independent Study Mentorship, and it's basically a class that helps students guide their path, guide their path into their future regarding their careers and their education. For me, my mentorship was in culinary arts. Although it did not align with my future goals, it has always been something I've enjoyed very much. My mentorship was with professional chef J.C. Channing. He has many accolades in his career, but one of the most notable, career and education, one of the most notable would be his time spent at the Culinary Institute of America and the other one in Italy, which I'm not going to try to pronounce, as well as his time as an executive chef at Houston. My responsibilities within this mentorship was everyone saying I'd show up, I'd help cook in the kitchen for as long as I needed to. Luckily, on some days I was able to spend time serving in the other building to help serve the people of the church, the youth group. Most times like I said, would be cooking and just assisting Mr. Channing. Sometimes helping pack stuff for his own personal company, or help just pack stuff for future days and for the church. And that's pretty much the extent of my responsibilities. What I like most about this mentorship was the amount of time I spent cooking is helped me, I guess, reinvigorate a passion of mine that I've put aside for a very long time. It's also helped me get closer with not only my mentor, but with his staff, as they have been the biggest help throughout this entire process. And one thing that I really like the most is the food, considering that's most of my job within my mentorship. Next. The biggest challenge, I would say, is probably having to relearn, I should say, these things that I've never had to really try and work for before in the entire time that I've been cooking personally. Like time management, just making sure that mistakes don't happen, and most importantly, knowing how to succeed despite the mistakes that were made. Now, the best part though, or I should say, the triumphs I've had are just how good the food has turned out, how I've been able to grow within my mentorship and my personal feelings about cooking, but as well as just seeing how happy it makes the people when they have good food and getting that satisfaction of helping my mentor and the church. My main focus throughout all of this has been just to learn new things, learn things that I may have lost over time, and just being able to help my mentor and get to this point right now where I'm getting this final presentation. It has been I've been very grateful throughout this mentorship, and as much as I've struggled to get everything finished, I've found that every part of the struggle, everything that I've struggled with has been very beneficial throughout the process. For my final product, as you can see on your tables, I've made a menu listing out the things that I'm making, or the things that I've made, and there's a QR code for you. If you like the food, which I know you will. If you like the food, you scan the QR code, it'll take you to my mentor's website where you can get more food, more great food like this. challenges. Um, over the original product was supposed to be, or was supposed to have the prices of all the stuff and the information about the food, but I found that it took a lot longer than I expected. I probably should have done more research or spent more time doing it. So it unfortunately didn't make it to the final copy of the menu. But overall, it's just supposed to lay out what you're having today on a little fancy piece of paper. And that's pretty much it. My reflection, I'll say the most beneficial thing would have to be, like I said, how much I've grown in my mentorship, grown closer to my mentor and his staff, and in my own ability to cook and to do these things like work with others, manage my time effectively to where everything's set up properly, as well as just being able to work in semi-stressful situations. Of course, like I said, the biggest challenge is making mistakes, and making mistakes, being able to succeed despite them, and most importantly, for two of the people here today, conforming to specific dietary needs, which is not the biggest challenge, but it's definitely something I definitely had to work harder to work for. Personal benefits. There's a lot. Just like I said, the growth in my ability to do these things, the amount of help I've gotten from Mr. Cheney and his staff, the happiness, or at least the happiness I've felt personally, just seeing how good the food has turned out and seeing how much the people appreciate it, and being able to really talk to people and ask, what would you want to see? Because it's not only helping get closer within the kitchen, but it's also helping get closer with people. Just being able to start the conversations like, what would you want to see for next week, or just being able to say, how did you like the food? Those interactions outside of just, oh, hi, hello, which is what I do most of the time. So it's been a very, very beneficial part of this mentorship, and just outside of the kitchen as well. And like I said before, the food experience. So that's one of my main benefits of this mentorship. In conclusion, I'd like to thank my mentor, his staff, Mr. Chaney, Zachary, and Logan, for helping me through this entire process, making sure I know what I need to do, how to do it, and just not giving up on me whenever I make mistakes. I'd like to thank my pastor for giving me this area to work in right now, Hampton for running slides, and all of you for showing up and helping out in the ways you have. My citations, just for stuff I researched. Any questions?
Were you working at the church, or were you working at the restaurant?
In a way, I would say both, because the kitchen I was working in is right in this building, it's right behind you. The restaurant per se, I wouldn't say it's like that, because it's not like, at least from whenever I was working, I wasn't running out, taking orders, checking tickets and all that stuff. I was just doing what I needed to do, cooking what I needed to cook, and then just taking over from people and serve.
What would you say your favorite experience was?
Favorite experience is probably this being in the kitchen. It's a lot. As much as I don't like cooking with other people at home, it's been a lot more fun when working with others, at least in this setting for me personally. And also just like how the food turns out is very, very good. Like last week was so good. Missed out.
What would you say your favorite meal that you made was?
Favorite meal, other than the one we're having today, I would have to say it's last week we made baked potatoes with beef tips and whatever else you wanted to add in. It was so good. I went back for thirds, but I couldn't get it because everybody already ate it. Hampton.
What was some of the things that you researched?
Some of the things I researched was stuff like pricing, how to do that, things like kitchen safety, and the importance of making sure everything's properly cleaned and organized within the kitchen so that nobody gets sick, or making sure that nobody gets hurt while in the kitchen. Just kind of funny since I got hurt earlier today. Hampton.
So, you researched about pricing. How do you incorporate that?
Well, how I incorporated it was I went and searched up multiple stores, and I looked up the prices for the amount of food I was going to be buying. I made sure to check if it was the best price out of any of the stores that I made sure about, and how much I could get for a specific price, for the cheapest at least. And as well as I made sure to talk to my mentor about what I already had, so I could just go in there and take what he had and just use that. Josh.
You said you had to relearn. Did you like stop cooking for a while? Or?
I wouldn't say I stopped cooking for a while. I would say I didn't have as much of a passion, or didn't make it more important in my life. It wasn't as important. It was just a necessity. It's just what I needed to do. But now it's something I want to do. I already talked to my mentor. I'll be coming back here every Wednesday and trying to get as much work with him as I can, and just be able to continue this, because it's been probably one of the better things that have come out of this class for me personally.
So, from what I understand, this wasn't your first choice when choosing a mentorship. Do you think this is something you would pursue later on?
It definitely would be something I would pursue, because this is something I wanted to do when I was younger. I wouldn't say I will say it's definitely been it was my first choice. It was definitely my first choice. It may not be what I want to do in the future, but it's always going to be my first choice, just because it's always been something I want to do. If I can't do it in the future, I at least want to get some experience doing it at some point. And yeah, it's just getting the passion for it, and that's the reason why I chose it.
Why your mentorship? What's something you changed about classes?
Honestly, I wouldn't change anything. I think the only problems I had were just my lack of focus at some points. Like there was one time I spilled some stuff on the floor. My mentor, he made sure, he reassured me, made sure I wasn't scared about it, and that it wasn't gonna mess everything up. And he just helped me get past it. So I wouldn't say nothing. There was no challenges within the kitchen that were my own problems. Anthony.
So, I know your favorite cook.
I guess it really just depends on the space and the amount that I'm cooking. When I'm at home, I'm either cooking for one or three or just two. And so it's really hard when someone else is in the kitchen considering the size and just walking through while I'm trying to make stuff. But it's a lot easier here, because not only am I doing it with multiple people, so I only have to worry about what I need to worry about, but also it helps based off the size of the kitchen and the amount that I'm cooking. Because Zachary, he dealt with most of the cleaning. Logan, he helped with at least for the days I was here, he was dealing with stuff that was outside of the church for like other parts, and then Mr. Cheney was doing stuff for his personal business as well as helping me. So I always had somebody to rely on, as well as somebody, yeah, as well as somebody who's just making sure that everything else is being handled. Anything from my evaluators? Okay. Thank you all. Once again, thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the